Gunko might be the biggest traitor in One Piece history. Have you noticed anything strange about Gunko and her appearance? For example, Gunko's name introduction was the only one without Saint, unlike the other God's Knights. Even Shamrock has the World Noble title and is confirmed to be Saint Garling's son, meaning he's from a top celestial dragon family. Also, did you happen to notice that most of the Revolutionary Army captains wear a hat and goggles similar to Gunko's? Gunko emphasized how special it is to be invited to the Holy Knights. She called it a miracle. That's how much it means to her. Perhaps she longed for such an offer, which is why she sees it that way. Maybe she's speaking from experience from when she was recruited. Furthermore, she is, so far, the only God's Knight who speaks arrogantly and thinks highly of herself, unlike the others we've seen, who are more laid back and even goofy. Perhaps it's because she finally gets a taste of being divine, unlike others who grew up as world nobles. This suggests that Dragon was familiar with the God's Knights because one of his members was corrupted and joined them. It could make for an interesting background story when the revolutionaries meet and face the God's Knights, specifically Gunko, in the future. Gunko ate the Aru Aru no Mi, a paramecia-type devil fruit that grants her the ability to create and control bandage-like strips with ends shaped like arrowheads. With this fruit, she can form flying creatures, one of which closely resembles a bird. We saw a similar technique from Karasu, a member of the Revolutionary Army. With his Logia-type devil fruit, Karasu can create crows, each capable of carrying an average-sized person on its back. Perhaps Gunko took inspiration from Karasu to develop this ability. If the Revolutionary Army arrives at Elbaf, I believe Gunko versus Karasu would be an exciting matchup. It's also possible that she is a secret revolutionary who is faking her persona, but to me that sounds kind of impossible. During the Punk Hazard arc, Law mentioned that betrayals are very common in the New World, and we've seen plenty of proof of this. Apu betrayed Kid's alliance, Kanjuro betrayed his clan and the Straw Hats, and even York, one of Vegapunk's satellites, betrayed her creator. At Elbaf, either Loki or King Harold is a traitor to his country, and so on. There are many theories about secret revolutionaries all around the world, so we might see the opposite. A former revolutionary, Gunko, betraying Dragon and joining the Holy Knights. The Holy Knights are said to be the strongest organization within the world government, which controls the entire world. They must be incredibly powerful, and I'm sure Oda put a lot of thought into these characters. This is why I believe each of them will have interesting abilities, lore, and connections to the story. Let's continue with Shepard Summers. Seeing this knight and his entrance into the story really threw the community off. He is a royal celestial dragon, yet he looks like someone who drinks beer daily and rides a motorcycle. That was unexpected. But looks can be deceiving, and him being a shepherd, he could be the second strongest knight. We know Oda takes inspiration from the Bible, and with Jupiter's name, there's a clear connection to Jupiter, but also a parallel to Peter the Apostle. The tattoo on Saint Summers closely resembles the symbol found on the ship of the Briss Kingdom. I wonder if the Shepherd family has ties to this place. He shares a lot of similarities with Sanji. There were many theories about Sanji fighting Jupiter, mostly because of their similar appearances. However, Summers gives off the same vibe. Summers cares about food and is worried about the celestial dragon starving, much like Sanji. In fact, I'm sure even Sanji would feed them because of his morals. Additionally, Summers seems a bit silly and made Gunko uncomfortable by being half naked, similar to how Sanji's interactions with women often play out. While Sanji is a gentleman, his perverted side sometimes makes women in One Piece uncomfortable. However, I don't think Sanji will be Summers' opponent. Instead, I believe Summers will clash with Zoro. Zoro will finally face a character that resembles an evil Sanji, which could lead to some great jokes. Summers is clearly a swordsman and has a very interesting sword. Do you remember Ohm from Skypiea? His sword, called the Eisen Whip, used a special dial that allowed it to extend in any direction like a whip. His opponent in that arc was Zoro. Saint Summers' sword, which has a plant-like or floral design, might have a similar ability. I also think we might see some flower-based techniques from him, similar to Vista. Even their character designs are somewhat alike, and the flower motif on Summers' sword and clothing gives me a similar vibe. A lot of people were disappointed after seeing Knight Killingham's character design, but I'm sure he'll be one of the most important and coolest characters in this arc. Saint Killingham is from the Rimoshifu family, and has seemingly eaten a mythical Zoan-type devil fruit that grants him the ability to transform into a Killin, a legendary dragon-like creature with deer features. I think he could be related to the knight we saw at God Valley. In the God Valley flashback, we see a knight carrying a polearm trident. The knight behind Garling also carries a polearm weapon. What's interesting is that we see this knight inside a celestial bubble, along with his actual hybrid form, which is supposed to resemble a Kirin. But people don't realize that Oda is referencing his design from the Yagara bulls and king bulls from Water 7. They were seahorse-like creatures, and now we see a knight with a trident, just like Aquaman. The Holy Knight at God Valley has a bull skull, which likely means Killingham and that knight are related. Another big inspiration for Killingham and his trident could be the demon from Alpine folklore, Krampus. The Holy Knight's plan is to kidnap the children of Elbaf, and Krampus was known to kidnap bad children and carry them away in a sack. Also, Krampus was known to wield a trident. Unlike the other Holy Knights we've seen so far, Killingham wears a bubble helmet around himself, just like the typical Tenryubito. By contrast, Garling and all the other Holy Knights don't wear a bubble around their heads. I find that little detail very interesting. The nervousness of this Holy Knight makes me feel like he should be Usopp's opponent. I know it seems unrealistic right now for Usopp to fight a mythical Zoan, but it needs to happen to push him to the level he should be. Given that the Kirin is a mythical creature from Chinese folklore, there might be additional yokai-related powers tied to his fruit. This could mean Saint Killingham has unique abilities that draw on spiritual or supernatural forces. He could summon ethereal guardians, create illusions, or manipulate fear. His presence might even cause a subtle spiritual disturbance in his opponents, weakening their willpower or making them doubt themselves. Usopp has already faced a character with similar powers in Thriller Bark, Perona. But now, it will be a more serious battle, and Usopp will have to confront his confidence issues. I predict this will be the most memorable and important fight for Usopp so far. Now, let's talk about some interesting details about Shamrock that you might have missed. Saint Summers is the only one of the present Holy Knights who addresses Shamrock by his actual name. Gunko and Killingham both address him as Commander. Could they, or their families, have some kind of history? Shamrock called people useless. In Japanese, using the word use to refer to a person is considered extremely rude. This may hint from Oda that Luffy will be furious at Shamrock, just like he was when Arlong insulted Nami using the same word. Most people assume Shamrock is the leader of the Holy Knights, but some details were lost in translation. Shamrock holds the title of Dancho in the God's Knights, whereas Garling was introduced as the Saiko Shireikan. These are not the same rank, and Shamrock hasn't assumed Garling's position yet. Shamrock's rank is the commander of the Holy Knights, which parallels Sabo's rank in the Revolutionary Army. After Garling became a Gorosei, we don't know if he still rules over the Knights, or if Shamrock will officially become captain now. Maybe that's why Shamrock is returning to Marijois to receive a higher rank and perhaps even a personal devil fruit, or some kind of power from Imu. Another interesting detail is Shamrock's outfit. The patterns on his clothing appear all over Elbaf, on buildings, ships, and even the Knight's throne. This is not a coincidence. The people of Elbaf likely had ties to the Knights and may have been allowing children to be trafficked in order to strengthen their connection with the world government. Right now there are way too many hints that King Harold is the actual traitor and Loki might not be as bad as he was originally portrayed. That's it for today. What do you think? Could Gunko be a traitor? Will Summers fight Zoro? If you want to know more about the abilities of the other Holy Knights, you can watch this video right here to uncover even more details. Thanks for watching. Bye.